Here we go again, the national debt ceiling argument from our government. Some threatening not to raise that ceiling. I have some news for you. This is money we have spent and we have to pay for it, or else.
You're watching The Roach on Florida TV.
You know, a commonly misunderstood aspect of the debt limit is raising it somehow gives the government in power a blank check to spend as much money as it likes on pet projects. Nothing could be further from the truth. Here's the great Mitch McConnell once again pretending he's concerned about spending, a go-to Republican puppet show that he has rediscovered since Donald Trump left office.
Bipartisanship is not a light switch. A light switch that Democrats get to flip on when they need to borrow money and switch off when they want to spend money.
First note, I have voted Republican in the past, so I know this firsthand is an oldie but goodie from my fellow Republicans. Republicans want you to believe they are conservative when it comes to spending, as if they are the grown-ups in the room closely monitoring that America doesn't spend too much money. But nothing could be further from the truth. This country, which likes to spend lots of money it doesn't have, has been raising the debt since the early 1960s. Ronald Reagan raised it 18 times, 8 times under Bill Clinton, 7 times under George W. Bush, and 5 times under Barack Obama. And surely Mitch McConnell can remember Donald Trump raising it 3 times, some $7.8 trillion during his administration. It wasn't that long ago. We had no big arguments about the debt ceiling during the Trump administration. Why? Because Republicans were in charge. They pushed it through, and that was the end of the subject. No debate at all. The Treasury Department says the debt limit ceiling is the total amount of money that the U.S. government is authorized to borrow to meet its existing legal obligations. That's the key there, existing legal obligations. You know, these are silly things like, I don't know, Social Security, Medicare benefits, interest on the national debt, tax refunds, military salaries, and I'm willing to bet even Mitch McConnell's salary. You know, the salary that gives them a good paycheck, free haircuts, and health care. Authorizing an increase in the debt ceiling does not give a green light to whichever political party is in charge to spend taxpayers' money on whatever the hell they like. This partisan nonsense claiming that somehow increasing the debt limit will give the other party a blank check to spend taxpayers' money and its favored projects or policies is just nothing but a lie. And it's a very dangerous lie. It's dangerous because the alternative to increasing or suspending the debt limit would be disastrous for our country. If the federal government defaults on paying its bills, especially interest payments, nearly all experts will tell you that the result to the U.S. economy would be catastrophic. And some of you might remember when Republicans played a game, of chicken with the debt ceiling during the Obama administration. You also might remember that the Republicans came around and eventually approved the increase in the debt ceiling at the very last minute. But that had consequences. Standard & Poor's reduced the credit rating of the United States government from its highest rating of AAA to AA+. All 3 major U.S. stock indexes declined that day between 5 and 7%. Today, we're hearing that same type of partisan rhetoric that we heard in 2011.
Our GDP is about 23. You've got a real challenge. Every great society has collapsed where they've overextended themselves. And this is exactly the path that the Democrats have put us on. The inflation that they have created with their spending when first coming into office continues to contribute to this and the harm that it'll cause to business and growth and for future generations of Americans.
That's good old Republican Kevin McCarthy just a few days ago spreading nonsense about the debt ceiling. He knows this is money already spent and it has to be paid. Of course, he's going to make it sound as if Republicans care about spending and the Democrats do not. That's a puppet show in my eyes and nothing more. Look, folks, America is out of control with spending. You will never hear me argue that. In fact, on this very podcast, I have talked about how our spending is going to do us in if we don't get it under control. I've had guests on to talk about this very subject. But to pretend like the debt ceiling is just about Democrats spending money on whatever they like is just dishonest. If the Republicans and the Democrats care about spending and want to get it under control, why don't we bring back the talk about a Budget Balance Amendment Act that we used to talk about in the 1980s and 1990s? It would require both parties and the president in charge to balance the budget each year. Boo! What a concept. But neither party wants to do this because they both want to be able to spend as much money as they like whenever they need to spend it. That's the real truth. So watch the debt ceiling debate go back and forth like it's a football game. There are no winners, only the potential for losers, which would be the American economy and the American people. Don't forget to subscribe. I really appreciate it. Hit that like button. I'm the Roach, and I'm out of here.
No more Roach on Florida TV.